The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
You're listening to the Sports Scramble podcast, where four friends serve up a weekly plate of sports with a side of SEC bias. Now, here are your hosts, Chet, Jacob, Wade, and Tyler.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Sports Scramble podcast, brought to you by Belly Up Sports. It's just the three of us. Jacob fell off the face of the earth. We don't know where he is. He may be closing down Home Depot. He may be at a hockey rink. I don't really know. But how are you guys doing this weekend?
Doing pretty good. Had a good weekend. Got to visit Wade up there in Baton Rouge. We hit up Alex Box Stadium to see Western Michigan and the number one team in the country, the LSU Tigers, play.
It was quite the game. I think Tyler and I picked the one with the least offense, but It was good baseball. And we did see a Gavin Dugas home run straight over our heads. It was quite impressive. He did it again today. So the Tigers got off to a hot start, even without one of their top players.
Yeah, Dugas came out swinging. Well, I watched all three games. We'll just start with the LSU baseball. Might as well. I was watching all three games, and they were Ben McDonald and what's his name, the LSU guy,
Lynn Rollins.
Yeah. Him. He kept saying, "All right, Ben, when do you think we're gonna get a home run? When are you gonna think we're gonna get a home run?" I was like, "Dude, chill. It's gonna happen eventually." They were like taking polls on who was gonna hit it first. Everybody thought it was gonna be Dylan Cruz. Nope, it was Dugas returning to his. For what, 2 years ago? I mean, he had like an eye surgery over the offseason, said he couldn't see the ball, which explains his performance last year. And now he's good to go back in his sophomore year form. It's really because he's draft eligible right now, but he came back. So
he's been here so long that they gave him glasses. He's old.
Exactly.
Had to get
he had like a little bit of a I don't know if it was like a detached retina or something. Whatever it was, it did not sound comfortable. I'm not a big fan of things going in my eyes. But he got it done. 2 home runs already on the season. It'll be a race between him and Dylan Cruz to see who has the most this year. So, how was the weather there? I know it was cold Friday, so they moved the game up. How was it on Saturday?
We definitely. We see my sunburn too. I mean, I'm looking like a crawfish over here. But the weather was definitely fine. We definitely picked a good day to go. Friday game, I couldn't believe what all those fans in attendance. It was like 15-mile-an-hour winds. It was feeling like 40s. So it was good that we were in the sun. It got up to in the lower 60s, but not really wind. It was marginal blowing our way. That's probably how Dugas got it. Over there, he hit it on, honestly, U-High's practice facility that they have right behind Alex Box. But it was a pretty good weather weekend, and a heck of a weekend for Gavin Dugas. He had 2 home runs, hit 750 on the weekend. So that's a pretty good weekend, and now he's at second base. So I think he did great on defense, and no errors for LSU's defense. I mean, the first series last year, they had 4 errors in that series against Maine. So it's pretty good to see a goose egg in the error column.
Yeah, that was one of the big question marks going into this season was how is the defense going to react after a year under Jay Johnson? Everybody knows Jay Johnson prioritizes offense, which, as you can see, I mean, we outscored them 24-4. Was that the
5?
5 maybe 5?
Yeah, they scored like 3.
Yeah, that's right. They scored. It was 10-1 or 10-0 the first game, 5-3 the second, and 9-1.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, they scored 4.
So 24-5. They outscored it by 24 runs. I think if I did that math right off the dome. But so we knew the offense was going to be there, but the biggest question was defense and pitching. Pitching was not an issue with our starters. We got ourselves. It is Paul Skeens, 12 strikeouts, just dueling or wheeling and dealing out there. And then y'all got to see Riley Cooper, big man himself, greater than all, tattooed on the forearms. Looks like he dropped a little bit of weight. What'd you think of Riley Cooper there, Wade?
I don't know if I can stand by that statement. I think he might have gained some weight, but it's okay. It's all downhill season for Mr. Cooper. He puts that belly right into the pitches, kind of carries his follow through. But really impressive stuff. It's very invaluable to have a left-handed stud pitcher like that. Oftentimes we'll see right-handed guys, but the best of the best can still hit well off a righty. So to have a lefty really throws teams for a loop, really complements the hard throwing style of Paul Skeens and Chase Shores on the other 2 weekend starters. So I think this rotation will be really good, but I am cautiously optimistic because we've seen this story before. Blake Money looked like a Cy Young winner.
Oh, yeah.
To open last season before getting torched in SEC play. So I think the pitching has improved. It definitely is great having guys like Money and Ty Floyd pitching out of the bullpen, on a Sunday afternoon, whereas last year they would have been starting. So that just shows the depth they have.
Well, you got Wes Johnson now coming in from the MLB. I mean, he leaves the Twins when they're sitting in first place in their division. And he's like, I'm going to go coach for old Jay. So that was good to see. I think that'll greatly improve the pitcher's performance. So it's I'm optimistic. I know every year when we're ranked number one, we go through we blow out teams and we drop some midweek games, and the fans are like, "Oh my gosh, so we're supposed to be number one and we can't beat ULL down the street or La Tech." Calm down, people. None of this matters until you get to the SEC, and that's when it takes into account. So, who do we have coming up this week?
They have Southern on Tuesday, and then they'll go head on over close to you, the Round Rock Classic. They'll play Kansas State on Friday, Iowa on Saturday in the same Houston State. And then they'll also play at Texas on the midweek. They'll stay around the Lone Star State and face off against them. Yeah, Texas this week, and they got swept by the quote-unquote SEC, the big bad SEC that they're going to be joining in. They got a taste of it out there at the Rangers Stadium. Vanderbilt beat them pretty handily today. They lost 12-2 today. On Friday night, they lost to Arkansas by a couple of runs, and then Missouri walked them off on Saturday night. So Texas already 0-3. And then another team, Tennessee, they started off the season 0-2, and then they picked up a win today, 7-0, beating UC San Diego. But they lost to Arizona on Friday night. And then Saturday night, they played at Grand Canyon, a team I think that's going to be hosting a super regional. I think that they are going to be pretty good. They have a really solid pitching. Their lineup is absolutely loaded 1 through 9. They got a taste of the regional. They were in Oklahoma State's regional last year, that crazy regional between Arkansas and Oklahoma State, which felt like every game you had to get to 20 runs to be able to win that game. So there's definitely some question marks with Tennessee. I think that their offense more than anything, I think their pitching staff did pretty good. I mean, they have 3 MLB studs going from Friday to Sunday, but there's a lot of guys that they lost on their offense. So I think that's my main question marks I have for the Vols.
Yeah, well, when you're not playing in your tiny little stadium, can't hit all your home runs. So
that's true.
That's always been my thing.
They did hit a few, but not as much as they did last year.
Yeah. Didn't they lose a lot of guys to the draft, or they returned?
They did. Yeah, especially on the offensive side, like their bullpen is fine. Like their pitching is going to be their strong suit, and that's why they're.
Well, they still got that guy that like pumps 103 down the middle.
Well, I think
he got a starter.
Yeah, he got drafted. He got drafted like either in the second or first round. But their offense, they lost a lot. They lost Gilbert, their star center fielder. They lost their first baseman. They pretty much lost their whole entire lineup. So they have a lot of young guys coming in here. So that's what's really gonna test, and also the SEC play as well.
Well, the rumor is we may be covering the game for LSU when Tennessee comes into town. It's just a rumor. It's probably not going to happen, but I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe if I put it into the universe, it'll happen. No, yeah, maybe they'll invite us to come.
I will rent out my apartment for a deluxe baseball experience for the I don't know. I think it's the Arkansas series that I'll be out of town for, and so you can go watch some top 5 baseball.
Your wedding, so neither one of us will be at that game.
No, it's the next weekend.
Tyler.
When I'm on my cruise.
Well,
okay.
Gotcha. Well, I'll be back in Houston, so I might have to make a little weekend trip over to Baton Rouge. I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna try to make it down for a game. in a good old Alex box. Maybe we'll get some on-site interviews. We got the brothers Brandt gave us some tips, Tyler, on how to get on the field. So maybe we'll flex those over at the LSU game and be interviewing Jay Johnson pregame. Who knows?
We saw some kids
sky's the
hop on the
limit when
field.
you're confident and you show up in Texas.
2 little kids hopped on the field and were running around on the bullpen.
No.
Not Tyler, though. It was 2,
Did they get tackled by the security?
No, they ran on the field for 5 minutes during a pitching change. Nobody stopped them, and then their parents wouldn't help them hop the fence.
Yeah, they were just like staring at them while their kids were trying to get back into their seats. I was like, first of all, how the heck did the parents let them get on the field? And second of all, why are not the parents not doing anything, trying to help these kids, poor old kids, trying to hop over back on this fence to get the seats?
How old were they?
5.
Like
10. 10-ish.
Okay, if it's 10, they should know better. But if they're like 4 or 5, then we got 5 and we got 10
for sure. They're definitely on T-ball teams.
All right, we'll go with 8.
Their jerseys.
Okay. 5 was
8
probably
probably know better.
I think 8 sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, you know who doesn't have 8 kids? My man Tiger Woods. He luckily didn't have 8 kids after all those scandals back in 2009. But yeah, we can we'll jump into Tiger Woods played his first PGA Tour event since 2020. Ended up making the cut on the number and then had himself a day on Saturday shooting 67. Today, not so much. Yeah, I think, first time back since the Masters, playing 4 rounds of golf, having to walk. He probably was a little tired, I've been saying it. I want to see him win. I would love to see him win just for he'd own the record. He's tied with 82 wins or 81. I don't remember what the number is, but he's tied in first with the other guy. If he wins on the PGA Tour one more time, he owns the record, but he's probably not going to win when he's playing 4 or 5 events a year. It's got to get extremely lucky when you got guys like Jon Rahm and Max Homa shooting 17 under, and I think Tiger finished at 1 under. It's probably not going to happen, but I still got faith in my guy. That's why I got the shirt on, the little Tiger swinging the golf clubs. So I'll continue to wear it when he plays. But Tyler, you saw what Tiger gave JT after he outdrove him on Thursday?
Tampon.
Yes. So people weren't too happy about that, but grow up. It was funny. He was like, "Hey,
it's a joke."
I'm the old guy." He was smoking the ball. I mean, he was out driving Rory, and that's saying Rory said he had to click his driver down a few degrees because he'd take away some loft because he was embarrassed. But yeah, people got all offended. It wasn't anybody that watches golf. It was all the people that want to cancel. If Tiger Woods can make it through his sexual discrepancies back in what was it 07, 09, I don't know, early 2010s, I think he can get through a tampon joke without being canceled. So, but then we had the big match between Wade and I on his bachelor trip. We haven't been on a show together since the trip 2 weeks ago. Wade, I'll let you break it down since you ended up victorious.
That's right. Got off to a chilly start on the front 9, right on the banks of Canyon Lake, and we had a couple dribblers off the tee, but my guy John Michael got us about 150 yards out in the fairway, setting the tone for the day. We think we tied the first 3 holes, and then y'all finally got an advantage on the next 2. We lipped out a putt. We played an uphill mountain hole where there was no grass on the fairway up to the
yep, that one was interesting.
Chet's team took that hole, and we limped our way into lunch, I guess. Well, actually, my team took the hole right before lunch on hole number 9. We used our magic ball to an advantage, which was basically a mulligan with some stipulations on it. And
yeah, we had to keep it fun for the bachelor party,
Yeah, no bad shots, But actually, everybody, I don't think we lost many golf balls collectively as a group. And the magic ball could be used as a mulligan or as a special putt. And I think most people used it for putting purposes.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. And then we took a 2-hour reprieve for lunch, and I think Chet,
Yeah, it
he
was
started thinking about taking a nap, whereas me, get a little food in me, reviving me from the night before where I was singing karaoke and drinking every liquor known to man.
yep.
It was good for me. I needed a hamburger, get a little grease, and lo and behold, the back nine, I think Chet would agree, was so much nicer than the front nine.
Yeah, this course was quite the spectacle, to say the least. We were looking for a cheap one since Wade and I and one other guy were the only ones that actually played golf.
It
So
served the
we needed
purpose.
something. Yeah, exactly. We didn't want to be bothered out there. We were the only people on the course, Tyler. Only
Private
people.
course, man. Private
Yeah.
course.
I
The
rented
back
out the
nine was
whole
nice,
thing.
though.
You
Back
could
nine
just
had
call
some
like a
grass.
VIP experience then if y'all were just the only people on the course.
We had a private cart boy, pro shop boy, and food guy. It was all the same guy. He had a mullet.
And it was the same guy for all three. And we finished 9. It took us a while. We were playing an 8-man match, really, 4 and 4, a little scramble just to have fun out there. And we got into lunch after 2.5 to 3 hours on the front 9. Everybody was pretty hungry. And we walked into the clubhouse, and our cart boy and pro shop guy was like, "Hey, I'm the waiter too. What can I get y'all?" And we ordered. He goes, "Well, let me see if the kitchen's open." Pretty sure he had to make all of the food as well. So that was interesting. And then, yeah, we got back out there, and like Wade said, he had some food in him. I had food in me. I was ready to go to sleep, and his team ended up. We were up 3, and his team ended up winning the next 3 and taking the whole thing.
Oh,
18th tee, I had a chance to really make something happen, and I topped it off the tee. And then of course we my other 3 teammates didn't hit in the fairway, so we had to take one. It was a long par 4 and hit a good second shot, and the third shot was the money shot that we needed. We were about 150 yards away, uphill green, like 25-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight at us. I was like, let me double club up, rip an 8-iron here. Tyler, when I say I've never hit an 8-iron so pure, I absolutely flushed this thing, but it went so much spin on it, went up in the wind, and it fell about 40 yards short of the green. I was like, you got to
you
be
got caught on
kidding
the
me. And
jet
then, of
stream.
course, they
That's the
get on the
problem.
green.
You had to keep
Yeah,
it low on
so
some of those back nine
Yeah,
holes.
you have to be a little stinger to get it on the green. You can't. Whenever it's like winds like that, you can't put it up in the air. You gotta, let it fly
yeah.
low.
Yeah, I should have clubbed up like an extra 4 clubs just to get it far enough down.
Just
to take
pull
an
out the
easy
driver.
swing or
It's gonna
something.
reach.
Yeah, just tee it up again in the fairway. Might as well. I mean, it was pretty much a bunker at that point in that fairway. But since then, I've had a sour taste in my mouth. So I've been out there
He's
grinding on the
determined
golf
to finally
course.
get a win in a match.
I got something a little different in my swing, a little different wrist action at the top. Alexa makes fun of me because she says I just go out there and flick my wrist. That's how I was trying to explain it to her. A little open hand thingamajobber. I don't really know how to explain it, but it works. Good contact. So I'm coming. Next time when I come into Baton Rouge next, we're gonna redo the whack with the 4 of us, and I'm gonna be ready to play. Me and Wade
So
are gonna
it's a
take you and
traveling
Jake
venue
down. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we get the home advantage
for
now.
major championship. We'll be playing at Santa Maria,
Yeah, so let's please
that would be
choose a nice course.
Beaver
Don't
Creek.
like City Park is like great and all for like if you're just like casually golfing, but it's not good golfing for something like this. It has
That
to be
wouldn't
like
need to
one
pack his driver for that course. So we
Yeah.
need to.
No, I would just be hitting irons. I was driving the green last time we went because it's only like 280.
That's why I
I think I drove
use the
4 of
driver
this
so much
9
on that
degrees.
course because like if you hit a good drive, you're already on the green most of the time.
Exactly. We need to see, Wade, did the bluffs open back up over there and kind of like North Baton Rouge?
It's in the works. Yeah, up in St. Francisville, they did sell the course after it shut down, but the developer who bought it has been very clear that he wants to restore it to its golfing glory. He thinks it was a good value with it being a PGA designed course. So yeah, they're
I
going to
think
bring it
Arnold
back to
Palmer
life.
did it.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah,
Yeah.
they're going to bring it
Yeah.
back to life here soon. I don't have a date, but that would be a fun trip to go
would.
up that way.
That was
Get
a
a
fun
change of
course to
scenery.
play. That
It
was
was.
it had some cool views out there on the bluffs, and the ravine running through it and stuff.
Definitely
So
didn't feel like
I'll be
Louisiana.
No, it did
you're in
not.
like Tennessee.
I'll be playing in Houston next week when I'm in town for work. Over there at the Longwood where we had the original match. So
Oh,
see if I can
you're going
fare
back
better.
to your old stomping grounds.
Exactly. So I'm about to join the club here, or at least the range membership. A couple $100 a year, and you get unlimited balls. So might as well. I was out there yesterday for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, working on some stuff and putting, and like, I might as well join. So I don't have to pay $10 every time I come. I get my money's worth. But all this golf talk makes me. We got to bring up our first sponsor. We got our friends over at Piper Golf.
There you go.
I gave Wade his sleeve of Piper golf balls out there, and I'm pretty sure he hit the straightest drive of the day with it.
The one that
And
beat
he was
you
like,
on hole
"Dude, these are the
18.
real deal."
Hey, see,
I heard Chet
Exactly.
talking
He
a
had
lot
the
about
Piper
that
golf
win.
ball.
He
Evidence.
talked all about that win, but mine still went 250.
Well, that's because I didn't have the Piper golf ball. I gave the sleeve
You
to
had
Wade
that
to
Piper
use.
golf advantage, baby.
250
Exactly.
straight into
So
the
head on over,
wind.
head on over to piper.golf and use our code SportsScramble10 at checkout for 10% off tour quality balls at a non-tour quality price. And the thing is, they have different levels, and we had like the blue golf ball or something is the one that we've got, and it's for lower spin. So that's why Wade used it into the wind. He kept it low. It
Yeah, I
didn't
thought
roll
that
out
would
as
work.
far, but yeah, exactly. No, he's like, "Hey, anybody got a golf ball? I lost my other 12." I'm like, yeah, here you go, Wade. Use these 5 golf
I lost
balls.
one ball, and it was because I was
So,
too lazy to drive to
yeah.
the other fairway to get it.
I
It
thought
was
I
pretty
lost
wide
the
open. There was no trees, no water. All the
It
water
did
had
look like a
evaporated
very
from the
wide open
course.
course.
There was no water.
Tyler, think about the course we played on my bachelor trip, and then take it down a few notches, and
And
that's
bring
what
it
we
to
played.
the desert.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean,
Yeah,
it
that is
served its
true.
purpose.
Both
You
of
want,
those
like we
courses were
said,
stuck in the
we
90s,
wanted
that's
a.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of the guys said, "Man, this course." Somebody wanted to get some water out of the uh, little water thing, the jug, Wade, and we stopped them because we noticed that there was sticks filling up the trash can that looked like they had deteriorated completely. Like if they haven't picked up the trash, what makes you think they've refilled the water with clean water? So let's not drink
Probably
any of
coming
that.
out green.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. He did make it through it. So, all right, enough golf talk. We got another big championship going on. We got the men's March Madness basketball. Alabama's got the number one overall seed in the NCAA bracket preview. They released the full top 16. Tyler, what are the other 15 teams?
Yeah, so we have all the remaining 1 seeds. You have Alabama, Houston, Purdue, and Kansas, the reigning national champs. And then on the 2 line, you have Texas, Arizona, Baylor, and UCLA. Then the 3 seeds, you have Tennessee, Virginia, Iowa State, Kansas State. And then to round out the top 16, you have the 4 seeds. You have Indiana, Marquette, Gonzaga, and Xavier. So pretty much the same teams that we've been seeing year by year. You have a lot of Big Ten, SEC, you pretty much have 2 teams with Tennessee, Alabama. The Big 12, it's a pretty good conference this year. They're very loaded. You have pretty much a team in each really seeding. So that's the top 16 with a month away from March Madness.
So I'm looking at the list. I think I'm going with my boys in Houston. That's who I'm picking to take it all home at the end of March. I guess like middle of April is when it actually is over. Who's your early pick, Tyler? Who you taking?
This is tough. I definitely love what Kansas has been bringing to it. Going from the 4 seeds, I think a team that I really like is Indiana. I think that they have some really quality wins. They're one of the few teams to actually beat Purdue. But the 3 seeds, it's very tough. I could see all 3 of these, all 4 of these teams really winning it. 2 seed line, it's kind of iffy. Right now, I have to go. I'm going to go with, shoot, man. I don't know. This is tough because I have no idea who's going to win it. This is like as wide open as it was last year. But I think I got to go with Kansas. I think that there's really what they brought back and what they lost is really what makes this team. I think they're still a veteran bunch. They just beat Baylor. I mean, last night's game, Baylor was up by 10 points, and then Kansas put it on them. They like outscored them like 55-26 in the second half. So I think that Kansas is ultimately going to win the Big 12. They're going to get a 1 seed. And I think that they can make some noise again in March Madness. So right now I have to go with Kansas. But as we always say, it's still too early.
All right. So I've watched more and more basketball recently, but there for a while I hadn't watched any college basketball this season. So a little bit of a blind guess here, but right now my pick is Alabama because I think they can outshoot anybody in the country.
Wow. Alabama.
I can't trust an SEC team, man.
But
yeah, that's true.
I think the obvious answer is right there in plain sight. Like Tyler's saying, I think Kansas, they're the reigning champs. They bring back some key players. And another veteran team that I didn't realize was ranked as highly as they are is UCLA. I think that they got
UCLA is
some
very
key
good
pieces from their run a couple of years ago as well. So those are 3 of the teams I'm keeping an eye on. But if Alabama can have a little bit of discipline and defense, I mean, offensively, they're better than any team in the country.
So we got Houston, Kansas, and Alabama as our 3 picks. We'll see.
All 1 seeds, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
right, I know. It's gonna.
I think
gonna be some.
I mean, looking on the outside, I think the team that I've really loved watching is Miami. I think that that could be a team that can make some noise. Looking at last year, I mean, they beat number 2 seed Auburn, and everybody was high on Auburn. They had Walker Kessler, they had Jabari Smith, and they got knocked out. Miami went all the way on to the Elite 8 before Kansas ultimately beat them. So I think that Miami, if they're not going to win the ACC regular season, I think they could definitely win the ACC tournament championship. So I think that Miami is going to be on the outside. There'll probably be a 5 seed, get matched up with a 12 seed, which is always tough. But honestly, if they're in like a bracket with an Alabama or Houston, I think that they can beat them. So I would pick Miami as those outside teams to make the Final Four and really make some noise in March.
I might pick Miami too. I always do. I think I might have a bracket with Miami made.
It's a good year to do it.
Once the bracketology gets posted and everything, we'll start I'm sure we'll have something with Belly Up, little bracket competition. So we'll keep our listeners posted on that. There's still some LSU fans that think LSU can make it if they win out and if they win the SEC tournament. Those people are smoking crack. I don't know what they're thinking, but LSU doesn't even have a chance to make the NIT?
No, they won't make any tournaments. I mean, they will make the SEC tournament, but they're going to get bounced by whoever.
You could put LSU in any college conference tournament, and they would not win, like, maybe a game. I mean,
the LSU women's team would single-handedly destroy the men's team right now.
If they weren't allowed to dunk, yes.
I don't know. I think Angel Reese could get up there and swat somebody when they went for a dunk.
I mean,
there's honestly way like the difference between the women's. The women's and the men's and the women's teams, because the women's team actually has shooters. Look what they have. Alexis Morris, she's carrying the team, and then Jasmine Carson, what she did today against Florida.
Yeah, so I mean, the women's team bounced back today against Florida, returned to their normal ways, beat them 90-79. Yep. I'm a little upset they let up 79 points. I mean, we're used to like 30-point blowouts, but it's towards the end of the season they're getting tired. They've got Vanderbilt, Mississippi State left. Of course, they dropped that heartbreaker to South Carolina. I think the moment was just too big for them, and they looked slow out of the gate. But it happens. It's one loss.
I'm sure they'll play again.
Do good in the SEC tournament.
They're probably going to get 2 more cracks at them. Either it's probably if they make it all the way to the SEC championship, if they make it to the Final Four, and that could be a national championship right there. But it's a pretty good week. I mean, you beat a pretty good Ole Miss team that took the number 1 team in the land to overtime today. I think that Ole Miss, looking at the bracketology of the women's side, they're an 8 seed. I think that's stupid. I think that's a team that should be a 5 seed. They are 20-7. They have 9 wins in a really good SEC. I know it's really top heavy with South Carolina and LSU, but LSU putting up 90 points against a Florida team, which LSU owns Florida this week. Gymnastics team beat them on Friday night, and now the women's team beat them.
Be done.
So I think that this LSU team is not done. I mean, the one loss is definitely something that you can't really hang your hat on, and you really just overmatch the size with Cordoso and then Aaliyah Boston down there. So I think it's pretty good bounce back. I think with Vanderbilt and Mississippi State left on the schedule, they'll win those 2 games, and they already clinched a double bye in the SEC tournament, so that's pretty good. So we'll see. I mean, SEC tournament doesn't really matter to them. They'll probably be a top 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. And the good thing about that is as long as you're a top 4 seed in the women's side of the NCAA tournament, you have not only the first round, but the second round. You get to host that at your home site. So
nice.
that's definitely huge.
Nice.
We'll have to take it in it
Yeah.
might coincide with the wedding, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Well, what's really more important, Wade? Your wedding or LSU women's basketball?
Women's sports.
Maybe we move the wedding. Maybe we move the wedding to the PMAC.
Okay, that sounds good with everybody in this house right now, but Elise happens to be in Orlando, so you can run that by her when she gets back.
I still think we mix into your wedding that after you say I do, you have to hit a drive straight down the middle of the fairway since you're getting married on the first tee box. And if you slice it, it's null and voided. You have to land it in the fairway for the marriage to be held true, for you to be legally
All right,
married.
just give me some
You
Piper
better
golf
be using
balls.
the Piper golf balls then if you're going to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Golf balls. That's what I'm talking about. Well,
Dude, I would whip out my 60 degree and just loft it into the center of the fairway. You didn't say how hard I had to hit
it. You got to hit it past the women's tees. We'll put it that way.
Oh, wait. Wade and I came up with a new rule. In baseball, it's pretty much like the same rule. If you don't make it past the women's tees, if you hit a pop-up, if you can't make it past the infield grass, you have to drop your pants. There's this one guy in Western Michigan, he bunted it and he popped it right up to the pitcher, and it was terrible. That one, you'd have to do something where it's everything has to come off. If you're
Dude, I'm pretty sure our pitcher caught it with
his
butt. He was like, whoop.
Was it Riley Cooper up there?
No.
Yeah, it was.
No, it was the next guy. He's also.
Oh yeah, it was. I don't know.
I think we had about 600 pounds of weight on the mound between the 2 dudes.
Hey, it worked. They had some strikeouts. Riley Cooper had 7. Paul Skeens had 12, and our guy today, Mr. 6'11" freshman, Chase
one of his
Shores
first pitches was 99.
Yeah, I mean, we got some heat out there. Well, if you want to watch a live event like Wade and Tyler did, or if you want to make it to the Final Four in Houston, like our friends Rob and Rick mentioned on last week's episode, you know what you need to do? You need to head on over to SeatGeek. Live sports, or sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's where our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Wade and Tyler used SeatGeek to get their tickets for yesterday's baseball game. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events,
number so I can do it again,
or a new email.
you can use mine next time. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. We got the Houston Rodeo coming up. You can get your tickets on SeatGeek. I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm not totally sure, but right now you can head. Yeah, you can. I'll sneak into the rodeo. Yeah, I can't even get through this ad read. Right now, you can head on over to SeatGeek.com. Use promo code BellyUpSports. That's all capital, one word, and for $20 off your first purchase. And if you're like Wade, use a new email, use a different phone number, you get your $20 off again at SeatGeek.com.
We'll need that for the Tennessee series.
Yes,
we're gonna need a lot more than $20 off.
See, Tyler and I bought our tickets before everybody decided they wanted to go to Mardi Gras. So we were there was 15 seats left. I was like, Tyler, we better just jump on this, man. Let's do it. And we got a good deal for sure, especially with that promo. So thanks to SeatGeek.
We were helping out the cause.
But if we decided to go yesterday, I mean, it was well attended.
Sat in the grandstand.
A lot cheaper. Yeah.
Well, I want to get to our dog of the week here. Who got that dog in him? So let me hit the intro. Who got that dog in him? Week number 40. I don't know when we started. We're on episode 45, so that's a lot of podcasts. So we've been sitting every week talking to each other. It's been nice. I've missed y'all, and now we're back at it. So who got that dog in them? Wade, I'll let you start first.
All right, so slim pickings of sporting events to pick from, but I'm going to go to the NBA. Yes, that's right. Wade and the
Ooh.
We got the
NBA.
All-Star game on tonight.
That's
Yep.
right.
Sunday night when we're recording this.
I'm going to go with the dunk champion Mac McClung. He's one of those YouTube sensations that we saw throughout high school, dunking the basketball. He was a pretty good college player as well. Bounced around between Georgetown and Texas Tech, but
He was a problem at Texas Tech
Oh,
when
yeah.
LSU faced him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he returned to the national stage yesterday out of the G League, won the dunk contest, and I think, maybe that will finally give him the opportunity he needs to get his NBA career going.
I think the 76ers signed him to a two-way contract too. So maybe he'll see
Yeah.
some action in the NBA.
Yeah, they signed him like 2 days before the event happened because they're like, dude, if you're going to come to this event, you have to have an affiliation. And yeah, so he's on a 2-week contract. So
There you go. Maybe he'll make the most out of it. Tyler, who's your dog of the week?
I'll stick with hoops, but I'm going to go women's college basketball. A lot of the hype for LSU has been around Angel Reese, but I'm going to give it to Jasmine Carson. She really lit it up from the three-point line. 7 of 14 from deep, 25 points in 40 minutes. So pretty much play the entirety of this game. So got to give it to the senior guard from Memphis. So I'll go give it to Jasmine Carson, give her the dog of the week.
I'm sticking on the LSU train. I'm going with Paul Skeens, our new ace, our starting pitcher, transfer from Air Force, serving the country 2 years ago, and now he's serving LSU fans heat on the mound.
He's serving up them K's.
98 pitches in 7 innings. His 98th pitch, 98 miles an hour. The man was torching Western Michigan. 12 strikeouts. It's so good to finally have a true ace and not bouncing around 3 guys. Well, hopefully he holds up. LSU, historically, they have a great pitcher, and something happens, he gets hurt or whatever in the middle of the season, and then we're screwed. But hopefully he holds up. Big dude too. He's like 6'6".
We have a lot of big dudes. Like
Jay
even
Johnson
like Jared Jones,
like
our hitter, is like 6'4", but he looks to me like he's 6'6". Like when he steps up to the plate and his bat looks like a T-ball bat.
Yeah. Paul, like Wade just mentioned, Paul Skeens can hit the ball too. I don't know how often he'll be hitting.
The next Shohei Ohtani?
I don't know. Well, I'm sure Jay Johnson isn't gonna risk.
Yeah, he's not going to get many
at
bats.
Yeah, after watching Tommy White dislocate his shoulder diving back to the bag, that wouldn't look too familiar. But yeah, my dog of the week's I gotta go with Paul Skeens, coming out there just throwing heat for the Tigers to start our season off right. Speaking of the SEC, we had some headlines last week that we didn't get to. Oklahoma and Texas agree to leave the Big 12 early. Will join the SEC in 2024. The conference will likely do a 3-6 schedule. Tyler, can you explain that for our listeners, also for me, because I don't know what it means?
Yeah, so pretty much is that the conference is going to go away from the division, so there won't be like an East Division and a West Division anymore. So what this is going to be is the 3 means is they're going to have 3 permanent conference opponents. So that can be, from the SEC East to SEC West. It could pretty much be wide open now. And then the 6 is going to be the remaining SEC. So there's probably more than likely there's going to be a 9 conference game schedule. So that means there's going to be more conference games and there's less really non-conference games, which I definitely agree with. And they're going to try to protect like the rivalry games, like they're going to protect the Iron Bowl. So there's more than likely that Alabama is going to play Auburn, and then the Egg Bowl, they'll probably still see that again with Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Missouri will probably be protected. Texas, Oklahoma will probably be protected with the Red River rivalry, and then pretty much all the other rivalries that you see, LSU, Arkansas, will probably be up for grabs. And then Texas and Texas A&M is still on the fence because Texas wants the rivalry, but Texas A&M doesn't want any part of it. I mean, the Texas athletic director.
Texas A&M is
Yeah, I mean, you could potentially say that, but I mean, in that case, like Texas A&M, really the main reason why they left for the SEC was to get out of Texas's shadow. But now that Texas is coming back in, so it's like they don't want to like have to really face them off. But I feel like that rivalry is gonna happen. So they're gonna try to protect the rivalries. Florida, Georgia, all that. So it's definitely gonna be an open book of who these 16 teams will play.
Wow, what a great idea. It's almost like
So
I came up with it 5 years ago.
Yep.
it's
Yeah,
almost
it
like
just
Wade
makes
sent
sense
it to us
because
and
like you
Ross
won't.
Ellinger, and Ross might have passed it on to Greg Sankey over at the
Yeah,
SEC.
really.
It was I found the old email. It was not Ross, actually. I misspoke on our previous show. It was Scott Rabelais, who is the
Oh,
Baton
Oh,
Rouge editor, who was Ross's boss at the time. Then Ross
should have sent it to
surpassed him
Ross.
and shot way up. So I did get some responses from the Charleston newspaper guy. He said this is a great idea. It won't happen though because of money and royalties, but also we didn't know the conference would expand to 16 teams, and I think it's only right. I mean, I think you could even keep the divisions if you wanted to, if you wanted
yeah,
to have that traditional feel, but there's really no need for LSU to play, a team like Auburn every year. I mean, versus getting out there and playing a team like, Georgia or someone that they traditionally wouldn't play. So I like the idea of the conference being more cohesive. You can't just say you're in the SEC and never play the likes of Alabama and Georgia and LSU. So I like
So,
it, but it's going to
who-
be very tough path ahead for teams like Missouri and Vanderbilt.
yeah.
oh yeah, Wade? Who's your pick to be LSU's 3 permanent opponents?
All right. So when I did it, I respected the existing, cross division rivals. So I gave them Florida, which I like. I think that's a very competitive series. So I'll stick with Florida, but then I think it really does get interesting because some people would say the LSU and Ole Miss game is a very big time traditional rivalry, and others would say the Battle of the Boot with Arkansas is a big time traditional rivalry. Um, and then I think the fans like the Alabama game, but I would have to suspect the SEC would want to keep the Texas A&M rivalry going, which they've
That's the
kind of
forced
generated
rivalry. Yeah.
since it's kind of been generated. So I'll say Texas A&M, Florida, and I'm going to give them Arkansas to round it out.
Okay, Tyler, who's your 3?
Yeah, so another rule about the 3 permanent ones. So 2 of them is like on like the top tier of like all the SEC, and then you get like one like bottom tier. So I guess that could be like Vanderbilt, Missouri, somebody like that, like maybe Mississippi State. I don't know if they consider Mississippi State to be one of the lower tiers, but I think that the 3 is going to be Texas A&M and the 2 Mississippi schools. I think that they're going to get Texas A&M. It's become more of a rivalry than probably everyone in the SEC really expected. I think that Arkansas is a great rivalry. It's a trophy game, so maybe that could potentially happen. But I think that the Magnolia Bowl just has a more historic rivalry, going all the way back to the 1960s in that game. And I think that Mississippi State's always a great game between LSU and Mississippi State. So I think that would be a great draw for LSU right there if they can get Texas A&M in both the Mississippi schools. And I could probably predict all the other ones, but I'm not even going to go about that because this would be a 2-hour show.
It took a long time to do that, Tyler. That's why I came up with this idea on a 12-hour car ride.
Yeah.
So I'll give you the 3 I want it to be, and I'll give you the 3 that I
Okay.
think it'll be. The 3 that I want it to be is Missouri, Vanderbilt,
That's
and
not going to
Kentucky.
happen.
That's
That
no
would
fun.
go against the rule that I just said.
I know.
Is you have to
Yeah, I
have
know.
face off against 2 of the top tier and then 1
If
of the bottom.
Hey,
if it is that
Missouri and
rule,
Vanderbilt are top tier, man.
if it is
Depends
that
on how
rule,
you look at
Arkansas
it.
is bottom.
Yeah. What
And
I think it's
baseball,
gonna
but not
be,
football.
I think it's gonna be Texas A&M, Arkansas, and probably Alabama. Well, I guess I don't know if you could probably consider Arkansas as a lower tier school. Um, or it's probably going to be Alabama because that seems to get the numbers every year in terms of broadcast. Texas A&M because, like Wade said, it's a forced rivalry at this point ever since they
I feel
joined.
like Alabama already has
Um,
like their 2 though. Like they're gonna probably get Auburn and Tennessee as their top two, and probably get either like Vanderbilt or Missouri as their other.
And that
one.
is something you have to consider because we don't have an in-state rival. And then with Oklahoma and Texas coming in, they're already a rival, and then they're gonna want to protect.
Like I just mentioned, I mean, the Texas-Oklahoma game, like that's not going to be touched, so that only leaves a room for another like top tier one. They'll probably get like Arkansas because Arkansas and Texas is a rivalry. Then you'll probably get like Missouri, like the Big 12, like Missouri and Texas A&M have Big 12 ties as well, so you have to put that in factor as well. And then like, you know, going to like Georgia and Florida and like, you know, Auburn could probably get like the worst out of this because their two rivalries are Auburn and Georgia, Alabama and Georgia. And then they could probably get like Vanderbilt or Missouri or South Carolina or somebody like that. South Carolina will probably stick with, you know, like Florida, maybe one of the Kentucky or Tennessee, somebody like that, and then get somebody else. So I think it's definitely an open book. I definitely went through all my predictions, but you can continue with who you want and who you think is going to be.
So I feel like the LSU Alabama game is bigger than the Alabama Tennessee game. Maybe not. Well, I guess last year they were kind of equal, but when's the last time Tennessee's been in the top 10 since the past few years?
I mean, that was the first time that they beat them in 16 years as well.
Exactly. So, and LSU Bama has, I won't say it's become equal, but it's become equaler. And I just feel like that's one of those games every year that's like if that college game day comes, you know, it's got all the hype. So I feel like that one is probably going to stay. And then I'm between Texas A&M and Arkansas or Florida. Oh, shoot. I mean, LSU's got like so many rivals or rivalry games. They're always good games, but it'd probably be like Alabama, A&M, and I don't know, throw in like Vanderbilt or something. I'd like to play Vanderbilt every year. That'd be great. So,
and the good news with all of this is you know, we're picking the three teams they'll play every year, but then they'll alternate between the other ones every year.
It won't be like you won't get to play like in Athens, like in the 10 years.
When's the last time LSU's played Georgia?
2012 in Georgia.
Yeah. So besides like SEC championships,
that's whenever like it was a classic game.
11 years.
Well, they played us in Death Valley, but it's a 7-year rotation.
Yeah.
So like we hadn't played Kentucky since the 2007 year in Kentucky. So I mean, you can't claim your one conference and not
hopefully this
teams.
I would like to see the 3-year permanent teams for like a 10-year span or however long, and then they kind of cycle through those, switch it up to where you play another 3 teams for 5 or 10 years, and then cycle through that again. That way, you kind of just get some sort of variety. Well, that's our college football talk. That's really all we got. There's not much happening in college football.
It's off season.
I do I have our first NASCAR Neil update of the year. Are y'all ready for this? NASCAR Neil says, NASCAR kicked off their 75th season with the 65th running of the Daytona 500. It was a pretty tame race, so a wreck on lap 118. Tyler Reddick got loose in turn 4 and hit the 12 car, causing a chain reaction, taking out the 9 and 43. The 12 managed to save his car and finish the race, but he had he cut a tire. I guess he had a flat. After that, the remainder of the race was pretty uneventful. On a late restart, we had 2 pairs of teammates running up front, with Brad Kay being pushed by Butcher and Kyle Busch being pushed by Austin Dillon. The big one occurred during the overtime restart. There was 2 overtimes that allowed Ricky Stenhouse to take the lead with current champion behind him. The second overtime was running good till a wreck happened after the white flag, which flag was taken, giving Ricky the win. So Ricky Stenhouse Jr. wins after, what was it? It was like his 199th race.
He's a Mississippi boy.
199 winless streak.
Yeah, out of Olive Branch. So
home state
congratulations, hero. Mr. Ricky Stenhouse. Yeah, home state hero, baby. I'm rooting for him.
Olive Branch.
I have no idea who he is. But NASCAR Neil is fired up for NASCAR season. I learned so much about NASCAR on Wade's bachelor trip. And so we'll probably tune into some. Neil and I were supposed to catch a race, but now he's bailing on me to go to some 1-year-old's birthday party.
So, NASCAR Neil's ripping cigars by the minute, cheering on Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Let's get his opinion offline on whether he's happy about the win or not.
Yes, I will reach out to him. So our last segment we got, unless y'all have anything else before I hit the TMZ Sports segment of the week.
Hit us. All
right. So first, TMZ Sports segment of the week brought to you by our friends over at Fanatics. Head to fanatics.93n6tx.net/sports scramble for all of your team gear. It's probably 24 ship, but by the time the show comes out on Tuesday, it'll be a new code, up to 65% off. Maybe get
just 24 bolt actually.
24 bolts. Ooh, what does that mean?
Bolt days. It's 20. It's still like the same thing. If you get an order of $24 or more, you get free shipping. But it's like these bolt days that they're doing on Sundays now.
Oh, interesting. So head on over to Fanatics. Use our link. Help out the show. Get you some gear. This one's not a sports one. I don't know why it's on TMZ Sports. Maybe he played sports. It's Bachelorette alum Josh Murray is pumped for the senior bachelor. I threw this one out there since we had our Bachelor Fantasy League, and they had a TV show. You know, they had the advertisement for Senior Bachelor, and we all thought it was a joke. They're actually having a Bachelor spinoff with seniors 65 and up go on.
There's so many spinoffs.
You're never too old to find love. Yes. So it should be an interesting. There wasn't much on the TMZ Sports. I thought that one.
Aren't they having like a Farmer's Bachelor series on Fox or something?
Yes.
It's on a different station.
It's like all these networks are coming. They're trying to just like steal like what The Bachelor is. Like, yeah, The Bachelor in Paradise. Next, you'll have
Tusslin and Thibodeau, baby.
Only
Tyler
Farmers only Bachelor. Like, what next?
Tusslin and Thibodeau with TT.
I got a bonus TMZ Sports segment for you. Our friend Brittany, I guess not our friend, but Brittany Griner. We don't know her, but she was in a Russian prison for a little while. She just signed a 1-year contract with the Phoenix Mercury, returning to the WNBA. Now that she's back on American soil, she's back to playing in the WNBA. So, congratulations to Brittany Griner. Hopefully she can stay out of Russia for the time being. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all this week. It's off season. We don't have a ton of football to talk about, but we got LSU baseball. We're all fired up about that. That'll headline some of our shows. If you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, it's probably going to be like at the top of your screen over there somewhere. And help us out. It really means a lot. We're trying to grow the channel, grow the brand. So if y'all have anything else, guys, I think we ended on that.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, Jacob, if you're listening, respond back to our text. We want to know if you're alive or not. We haven't heard from you in a few days. So.
If this doesn't post until tomorrow and we still haven't heard from him, we might really need to check in on him.
I'm sure he's fine. You know him. He works those late nights at Home Depot. So we'll give him a call tonight. Make sure he's all good. So we appreciate everybody listening. We hope everyone has a wonderful week.